Okay, hello Ginat and Sheldon. Thank you for having me here. I see Sharon and Toby, a couple of people that I recognize here. And welcome. This is Healing Stress and Overwhelm, a 4-step process to feel calmness, clarity, and confidence. My name is Devora Gila Berkowitz, and I help people who care about their well-being, including coaches and healers, to get over stress and overwhelm and feel more ease and flow so you can achieve your goals in life and business from a more calm, clear, and confident place. So go ahead and type into the question box, into the chat box. In a moment, I'll tell you how to do that if you don't know. Where you are in Israel and in the world. I heard somebody was in Dublin. So to get to your chat box, if you're on the computer, I know, to take your mouse and just scroll towards the bottom, there's a toolbar and it says chat. And if you click on that, you'll be able to open up your chat box and type where you're from. So Saram is from Yerushalayim. Hi, Saram. I'm up in Katzrin in the Golan Heights, up by the Syrian border. I actually lived in Bat Ayin for about 12 years in Gush Etzion. Lucy is in Ranana. Great. Sara is in Revava in the Shomron. Jonathan from Zichron Yaakov. Mary, oh, I gotta put on my glasses, gosh. All right, there you go. Mary is from Zichron Yaakov. Cool. Christine from Ringwood, New Hampshire, south coast of England. Okay, Devora's from Yerushalayim. Ramat Beit Shemesh, Dublin. We're like really representing here. That's great. Male Adumim, Singapore. I've been to Singapore. Yes, beautiful. Okay. All right, so you can keep typing if you would like. And so stress and overwhelm happens in our everyday life, and even more so during this past while in the quarantine period. I mean, oh my gosh, if you're not stressed being, with the same people, you might love them, but, every day, all day long, and also having to do everything that you need to do. Or maybe you're stressed about the uncertain, not knowing what's going to happen. Or maybe you're feeling overwhelmed about finances now if you've been, not going to work, all kinds of things. So I want to invite you to type into the question box, what is stressing or overwhelming you these days? And just tell me in a phrase or in a sentence what is the cause of much of your stress and overwhelm. I see Francine is from Male Adumim. Mo is from Dublin. Oh yeah, we did those. Jerusalem, Sweden. Okay, Ariella, not Jonathan. Okay, hi Ariella. Okay, Susan says being completely alone for more than 2 months. Oh yes. So I'm one of the people who has been not completely alone for 2 months. And on the other side of the spectrum, we've got the stress of being alone. And that is so challenging and so hard. And my heart goes out to you, Susan. And Mary says, my hormones are playing with me. Yes, that is very, very true for many, many women. Okay, Sarah, it's actually been good for me. Good, I bless you to continue. Ariella, trying to pick up the pieces again. Yes, as we come out of quarantine and we start to, little by little, for some of us around the world, and we start getting a little bit into our daily routine, right? We might be feeling a little bit off kilter. Okay, I know for me, I guess the overwhelm has been kind of coming out of my routine. I really need a routine to keep going and trying to create that routine with everybody else's routine, basically putting all the pieces together as Ariella said. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of background and how I got so passionate about helping people get out of stress and overwhelm. So I don't know about you, but I have always been an overachiever, a high achiever. I call myself a recovering perfectionist. Can anybody relate to this? Just raise a hand or type yes in the chat box. Can you relate to being a high achiever, an overachiever? It's really gung-ho, doing the best you can all the time, every day, in every way. Mary says yes, Deborah says yes. So that was me. As a child, I was one of those kids who would cry when she got second place. And I remember, I'm a Harvard graduate, yes. And so that's kind of like my path from that little child who would cry at second place, getting into Harvard, and every step of the way was always having to be at my best. And it got to a point when I was about 20 years old, and I was riding in the car with my mother. And I said to her, I had this insight. It was like this divine download that, and all of a sudden, I realized, I said, Mom, you know, if I don't figure out how to become a type B personality by the time I'm 40, I'm going to have a heart attack. And I don't know why I said it that way, but that's what happened. Well, something very, very close to that actually happened. So you see, I'll just kind of fast forward when I moved to Israel in my late 20s, and I still had that pattern of being an overachiever and being in stress and kind of overwhelming myself with all the things I wanted to do in my life and wanting to do it the best. And so I had become religious, right? Because being not religious wasn't good enough. So I became religious. And all of a sudden I was a young mom. And in my mind, I had to be the best mom and I had to create the perfect children. And in doing that, I put myself on the back burner and I focused everything on them and gave them everything I could, 24 hours a day, whether it was walking them to school to teach them how to be healthy and talk to them about nature and about God and everything, to after school baking cookies with them and doing all these things with them, all this attention. And then bath time wasn't just bath time. I would use that opportunity to play word games with them to develop their brain. You see where I'm going with this? I was constantly in overdrive. And it got to a point where I was so exhausted and so blown out that I remember saying to myself, I wish someone would just take care of me for a few days, right? And guess what? That happened because I landed in the hospital with a neurological condition very closely related to multiple sclerosis. So I had inflammation in my brain, in my spinal cord, and I was going blind in my left eye. And so here I was in the hospital, and for me, everything just hit me like, wow, look at where this has got me, being in overdrive, trying to do everything for everybody. And I did this to myself, and I was really ready to be humbled and to say, help God, get me out of this. I was really ready to turn my life around. And so that was my rock bottom, and slowly, I made a commitment to myself that I was going to change my life. I was going to improve my relationship. I was going to stop using my children as excuses for me to be the perfect mom. I was going to be more kind to myself. And so I hired a number of practitioners to help me get better on the physical level, emotional level, and I started building a more deepened relationship with God, which what I refer to as the divine, however you find that. And from that deep connection came the work that I'm doing today as a spiritual empowerment coach, as a wellness professional, as an energy healer. And so I'd like to take this gift that I have garnered and teach you today the 4 steps to getting out of stress and overwhelm so you can feel more calm, clarity, and confidence. Okay, so who's ready to learn the 4 steps? Raise your hand or type into the chat box, yes, I'm ready. Let's do this. And Deborah says, sure. Lucy says, yes. And I saw some hands there. So let's go ahead. So here's a question for you. Ariella says, ready. First question for you is, what do you think the first step would be when you want to stop being stressed and overwhelmed? Like if you knew what that first step was, what would it be? Take some guesses, write that into the chat box. What would the first step be to getting out of stress and overwhelm, or getting out of any challenge, to reduce stressors, if that is possible? Thank you, Toby. Deborah says, taking time to center myself. Devora says, breathe. Sara says, breathe. Saram says, knowing what makes me go off. Ariella says, stop and breathe. Mary says, meditate. Christine says, step back and reflect. These are all beautiful, beautiful answers. And I think the closest one, these are all true. We need to go through all of these steps, changing mindset, word order, these are all true. And these are all parts of this process you're going to see today. And I would say that the closest one the first step I have in my process is what Saran said, knowing what makes me go off. So the first step in my process that I have found works for me and for the people that I help is awareness, right? So first we need awareness, right? And then we can breathe, and then we can stop, and then we can meditate. And well, stopping is important, right? Stop and have awareness. Then we can reflect, we can change our mindset. Barbara says, think about gratitude, but the first step is just being aware. Okay, and so I'm already going to, in a few moments, dive into this exercise with you. But I just want to explain a little bit before we start so you understand where it's headed. So after awareness in your mind, what are you thinking? What are your thoughts? Awareness in your body, where am I holding the stress and tension? Awareness in your emotions, what am I feeling? What emotion is coming up? Underneath stress and overwhelm are a lot of feelings, a lot of emotions. It could be fear. It could be aloneness. That's what I felt when I was that stressed out mom. It could be anger. It could be resentment that other people are taking up your time. It could be guilt that you're not good enough. So a lot of emotions are there. So it's learning to be aware of your thoughts, your emotions, and what's happening in your body. And after we do that, step number one, then we have step number two, which is being present with yourself. It's okay if you write this down, but you don't have to, because I'm going to take you through this process. Step number two is being present with all this, with love and compassion for yourself. So we can't transform or heal ourselves if we don't take the time to be compassionate and receive and acknowledge and recognize ourselves with some kind of acceptance, like a massive acceptance of what's happening. Right? When you fight something, what you resist persists, and when you fight it, it keeps coming up. So we want to be present so we can just receive what's happening. That's the gateway to transformation. And after we're present, then we can create a new mindset, because being present helps to release the stress. And then you can put into your mind your little self-hypnosis, your mindset, your affirmation, right? So step number three, I call that creation. So step number one was awareness. Step number two was being present. Step number three is creation. And step number four, what are you going to do with all that? We're going to take action. We're going to decide what we want to do with all of this information and experience. Okay, and now we're going to, don't worry if you didn't kind of write that down, we're going to experience that. So I want to invite everybody, just if this feels right for you, to close your eyes. I'm going to take you through a meditative experience. So just getting settled in your seat wherever you are. And I'm going to close my eyes too. And just settling in your chair or wherever you are, if you're lying down. And imagine that there's energy flowing up and down your spine a few times. Letting that the divine life force energy just travel up and down the spine a few times. Bringing you more and more energy. And then imagine that the crown of your head could open up. And as if you could bring in the beautiful love and light of the divine universe, bring that through the crown of your head, let it travel down the neck, down the spine, down the legs, and through the feet into the earth beneath you. So we're connecting heaven and earth right now. This is just a centering exercise. So imagine this line of energy going from above you, throughout the universe, coming through, down the spine, down the legs, through the feet into the earth. Don't worry, this will not overprocess you. And letting that energy travel down, down, down to the center of the earth, to that core crystal, nurturing, feminine, grounded energy. Maybe you can envision a crystal. What color is it in the center of the earth? And then very gently, with compassion for yourself, bring up that beautiful, nurturing energy in your mind's eye. Let it travel up through the feet, up the legs, and up the spine into your heart. And here's where I like to ask people or invite them, If it feels right, to put a hand over your heart and really connect to your heart energy. The most powerful energy there is love. And just noticing your breath without changing anything. Just notice how it feels to just be with the gentle pulse of the breath, and knowing that it comes from the divine. And every moment that we take a breath is a moment to be connected to the divine, to our divine source, the source of our life, the creator of the universe. Just being with that, with so much compassion and love for yourself. And I'm going to invite everyone here just to, in your mind's eye, just feeling the energy of everybody present here, and imagining that we could breathe together from a place of compassion and love. And as we breathe in that compassion and love from the divine, we can exhale that compassion and love to everybody here in the group. And just notice what that's like to be together in compassion and love for each other. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you a question. And by asking the question, you might notice something shifting in your body. You might notice a constriction or a tension somewhere. So the question is, when it comes to feeling stress and overwhelm at this time in your life, or at any time in your life, when it comes to feeling stress and overwhelm, where does that show up for you in your body? When it comes to being in quarantine, when it comes to being around a lot of people or being around nobody, when it comes to not knowing what's coming next, any of this, or another reason, where do you feel the stress and the overwhelm in your body? And just notice with compassion and love. So you might be feeling that somewhere in the head, or maybe in the throat area, or the chest area, or maybe you're feeling it in the gut, in the belly area, or anywhere else. Whatever it is, wherever you might feel a constriction and a tension, when you think about being stressed and overwhelmed, wherever you feel it, that's totally perfect. That's totally fine. Just noticing with compassion and love. Okay. So that was step number one, awareness. Awareness of your thoughts, awareness of your physical body. And there's one more part here. Let's become aware of your emotions. What emotion do you sense is stuck and calling out to you from that place in your body? What emotion needs your attention right now? It could be fear. It could be aloneness or sadness. Maybe it's anger or resentment or guilt. But whatever it is, it's okay. Just be with that. And Jeanette or Sheldon, if you could just mute whoever's not muted right now, that would be great. And so now travel to the places that need it the most. You can imagine that the divine is breathing through you.
I was not unmuted.
Oh wait, I'm muting everybody. One second.
Sorry.
Through you and taking care of that, but you don't have to really make an effort. The divine is doing that with you. The divine is breathing for you and through you. And just relax into that knowing that the divine is breathing for you and through you to the places that need it the most. And just be with that, with love and compassion for yourself and for everybody on this call. And notice what happens as you breathe. Notice what happens as you are present with yourself and with everyone on this call, with love and compassion. Love, the strongest force there is in the universe. So this is step number 2. You're in it right now. And this is like a key to a doorway. It's a key to a doorway of healing. It's a key to a doorway of healing and transformation. And now I'm asking the divine to send energy to everyone in the group. It won't overprocess you or interfere with anything you may be doing for your health and wellness. It's divine life source energy. And I'm asking the divine to send all of you more of a sense of ease and flow for the rest of this session. So just allow yourself to receive that sense of ease and flow as you continue letting the divine breathe through you. And taking a few more moments just to be in this step of presence. And now we're going to move into our next step, step number 3. Step number 3 is all about what is an affirmation or a mantra or a mindset that you would like to have now to keep in mind for those times when you might get stressed or overwhelmed and you might want to write it down later. What is a thought that you want to have going through your head throughout your day? What is the affirmation or mindset or mantra that you would like to have running through your mind all day long to give you inspiration, confidence, calmness, to help you get clarity? It could be a few words, it could be a sentence. Whatever it is just wonderful. So take some time to think about what would that affirmation be for you. It could be, I am enough. It could be, the divine is with me. The divine is supporting me. I'm doing the very best I can. Whatever it is exactly what you need right now. So take the next few moments to just ponder that. Okay. And the final step is step number 4, action. So what is one action that you could take from this new mindset? What is one baby step you could take in your life from this mindset? It could be, well, the next time I show up with my kids, I'm going to be more calm, for example. Or it could be, when I get worried, I'm going to remember that the divine is with me. Or it could be, I'm just going to go out for a walk. Whatever that action looks like for you is just right. We'll take another moment just to decide what that action would be that you can take from this place, this new place. Okay, and just in a few moments, we're going to complete this exercise. Just take a moment to be with yourself again and integrate what we've done. And then very slowly, we're going to come out. So beginning to tap your feet on the floor or wiggle your fingers and slowly come back into our shared space. The meditation is complete. And if you want to write down what your mantra was or what the action was, feel free to do so. And then I'm going to ask Gina if she can if she can start preparing to unmute, because I want to invite some people to say their takeaways. If anybody wants to share what their experience was from that exercise, we could take a couple of those shares.
Orders are like that, and they're happy with a smaller size. I mean,
Just
even
minute,
smaller than
don't
what
unmute everybody.
she was wearing, but
Mute
still
everybody
doesn't matter.
else.
Those are the smaller sizes. Okay, right.
Type in the question box, if you want to share with everybody on the video or on the microphone your takeaway. If we don't have a new one, we'll just type it into the question box. All right, let's go ahead and type into the question box if you want to share your takeaway. So like Mary shared, you can just do it. I see Sarah's unmuted. Sarah, did you want to share your takeaway? Okay, Ginat, I know you had a takeaway. What if you unmute and share with the group?
I love to share. I always have a takeaway. So I'll just go through. The place I felt it was in shoulders and neck, right about here. The feeling I had for some reason was sadness. Don't know why. The thing I told myself is, I am enough. And it was so weird, Devora, because that's the first one that you said. You said, maybe you feel like saying, I am enough. And that was mine.
Oh, great minds think alike, Ginat.
I'll tell you. Something more?
Anything else?
Seems like you had one final question, which I don't remember. Must
What
not have been
is
important.
an action that you can take from that place of I am enough?
What's the answer that comes into my mind is running.
Oh, are you a runner?
Oh,
Oh, that's fascinating.
yeah, isn't that something?
Wow. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's beautiful. Anybody else want to share their experience You can type it into the chat and we'll recognize you and unmute you. Bitzalel says, being truly aware of myself. You want to say more about that, Bitzalel? Can you unmute Bitzalel Brown? And could you say more about that, Bitzalel?
Yeah, the method that you're using really allows us to become aware of ourselves. That's a very powerful thing, for sure, for a person's health and for healing.
And
you do.
And what was the new mindset or mantra that came up for you?
I'm cut from the same material as you, so the overachievers.
Yeah.
It's sort of, for one mantra that always tries to come to me is that you can let life guide you, and you don't need to run your life so much.
Oh,
That's
I love that. I love that. Let life guide you. And it's interesting because Bitzalel, you know, was in the Torah, is the builder of the tabernacle. So he's all about doing and knowing how to do it and telling everyone how to do it and doing. And so when you can let life guide you, it just lets that doing be even more free, and it turns into being even more and more. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else want to share what came up for them in that exercise? I can type in the chat box. You could take another share or so. And okay. So Ariella, who is written as Jonathan, says everything is okay. It's all okay. I feel like taking a big, nice, expansive breath after that. That is beautiful. Everything is okay. It is all okay. Let's unmute Ariella, Jonathan Hagin. And Ariella, could you please share more about that? Everything is okay. It's all okay. What was your experience like in that exercise?
Ariella, I think you can
Yes.
unmute yourself. Yeah.
Yes, I unmuted. It's you
Thank
can hear me? Hello?
We hear you.
Okay, good. No, because I suppose some of the stress is that it isn't okay in a million and one ways, and at the end of the day, it is. You know, thank God it is. And I'm not in a hospital, and I'm standing and going and doing and too much in control. But you can't be too much in control all the time, or everything is not okay. So maybe, yachadim zot, maybe it's letting go a little bit, a tiny bit, a fraction, letting go a fraction, so that everything can be okay. And that's my cat agreeing. That's right.
Yeah. Sometimes we can't let go of everything all at once. Sometimes it's just letting go of a little piece. And what I have found is that when we let go of that little piece with the intention just to be, you know, experience life in a better way, then the divine steps in and helps us either let go of more and more of that, or brings us people who can help us do that, or sends us what I like to call divine love notes, messages to reconfirm our intention to let go. That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're really in, you know, these unprecedented times, and it's really a time in our history where so much healing and transformation is possible, and there's so much that we can do, and there's so many people out there who can help you. And the divine, whether you call that God or the creator or Hashem or the universe or whatever, just wants to create a relationship with you, just wants to be expressed through you, because you are, you know, a divinely created in human form, and every one of us is unique. Everyone is here for a unique purpose, and that purpose is to reveal the divine in the world through our own unique vessel. And so letting go is going to enable you to bring that divine in more and more and more, so that you can express that inner divinity. Okay, anyone else want to share what their experience was? I'm tempted to call on you, Sheldon. Okay, I'll call on Sheldon. Sheldon, what was your, no, don't. Okay, that's perfect. All right. So is there anybody, oh, let's see, there has to be room for God to take control. Exactly. All right. So is there anyone here who has a specific situation that they would like some individual attention on and who would like to step up and be the voice in the room? If that sounds like something that you would like, you can feel free to say in the chat, me, M-E, if you would like some personal assistance with this exercise, and the rest of the group will support you. And that might feel really, really scary. And the good news is that you get a special breakthrough for your specific challenge. So I'll just give a few moments to see if anybody would like that opportunity. Going once, going twice. Okay, so that's not for today. Okay, and so, I just wanted to share a case study of one particular woman that I worked with, where we would go through this type of exercise, this process, over a period of time, to give time for her brain to unravel the old patterns of thinking and to rewire the brain with the new patterns of thinking, right? Because we all get caught up in our old habits, in our generational patterns, in the attitudes and values passed on to us from our caretakers, and these, become our beliefs and our habits and our behaviors. So this one woman that I worked with had a very, very chronic sense of overwhelm and overdrive, a lot of stress. And this showed up in all areas of her life. From her marriage, there was a lot of tension in the marriage, always bickering with her husband, right? Not enjoyable to spend time together. And it showed up in her work, where she couldn't get along with colleagues, and it was always stressing her out what everyone else was doing. And she couldn't even get her child off to kindergarten without the child clinging to her. Like, everything was stressful, and she was always getting sick and having to take time off, and just, she knew it was time to get help when she felt she was going to burn out. And so we practiced this four-part process with lots of compassion and love. And over time, she learned how to observe herself in her everyday life with this love and compassion. She learned how to become more aware, to be present with herself, to create new ways of thinking and taking action from that place. And as a result, it's one of my favorite stories to tell, all those areas of her life that were stressed out and not working for her, they all improved. She was able to take time for herself so she wouldn't get sick, and she joined a dance class, and that started making her feel great. She learned how to get along with her husband so much that they started becoming a wonderful team, and he started helping out more in the house, and they had date night, and then it was just like the best couple, right? She really improved her marriage. And at work, she started getting along better with the colleagues and got in line for a promotion. And then finally, the daughter, the little toddler that was clinging to her leg and screaming to go to kindergarten, would say, "Bye, Mom." And what was funny was there came to a point where she was concerned and worried, and she said to me, "Devora, I feel like I'm getting really lazy and I'm concerned." And I had to laugh. I wasn't laughing at her. I was laughing at the fact that she had done the work so beautifully, that her brain had rewired, and no longer was she caught up in overdrive, but she was able to relax and, as we've been saying, let God take control. And she thought that was being lazy because it was so brand new for her. But that's the breakthrough, that's the level that she was able to get to. So this is what's possible when you take this process and you practice it in a way that helps you change your experience. And so, so in a few minutes, we're going to wrap it up. And some of you are going to take this, and it's going to be great. And this was a great experience, and that's wonderful. And you have my blessings for that. And those of you who would like a little bit of something to take with you, I'm going to put a link for a meditation that I created in the chat, and you can copy that. Just a second. You can copy that. It's my ease and flow meditation, and it basically takes these 4 steps and walks you through. There's some music in the background for those of you who don't mind having a little bit of musical in the background, and I'm putting that in the chat just now. And you can go ahead and you can download that meditation. And some of you might be saying like, oh my gosh, I could really use some personal assistance and some help with this. And if that's the case, then you can click on that link and set up a complimentary conversation. We can explore how I can help you. Okay, so before we close, I just want to invite Ginat. Now don't be shy. Ginat and I had a little bit of fun over the past few months because I was running a pilot study for an energy healing modality that I had created. I have a bunch of them, and this was for business support for people doing launches for their business. And so, Ginat, do you want to say just a little bit about what happened for you in that pilot study, how you got from your event being canceled to having this online event, and what happened with the team?
Sure. I want to try to say this in a way that is not going to overinflate you.
Right. I mean, yeah, right. No, and also
because that's what I want to say. Is I want to say what a wonderful experience I had with you, and particularly what really stands for me is that you've helped me to relax my relationship with money. And just, it's the first time that I remember myself that I'm relaxed and free and allowing, and it's okay, and so what, and it'll be all right, it is all right. So my heart is so open and grateful.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I enjoyed witnessing you go through that process over a short period of time. So I want to invite everyone to type into the chat box anything that you're going to take away from this entire time that we had together. Any ahas, any insights, any new perspectives that you didn't have before, and type them in the box and we'll share them with each other. Whether it's about the exercise you went through or some information that came through or anything like that. Just go ahead and type into the chat box anything that you might want to share. If there's anything to share. Deborah says, thank you, Devora. Ariella says, thank you very much, Devora. You're very welcome. Okay, so we got a quiet crowd, and that is fine. And so I'm just going to leave you with, oh, Ariella says, trying to let go even slightly. Beautiful. Okay, the answers are coming through. Trying to let go even slightly. Thank you. Great energy. All right. So let's take a couple of minutes just to talk about letting go even slightly. Lucy says, thank you very much. Letting go even slightly. So I just want to reiterate.
Devora, I'll just interrupt you to say that if people feel like they need to take a break before our next class starts at 1, we have a lunch class, a cooking class called Soup as a Meal. So we can continue here, and if people want to take a break, whatever. Maybe if you're ready, Devora, I could stop the recording and then we could chat after that. Is that a good idea?
Okay, so why don't we do this? Bitzalel says, thank you, you're very welcome. Okay, so I want to thank you very much for showing up for this class today. I hope you got some value out of it. Again, if you want to download the meditation to use on your own time, or if you would have something that you would like to work through, a personal situation you want to go deeper, you can click the link for a complimentary call and we can have a conversation about that. And again, I want to say thank you to Sheldon and Ginat for allowing me to come and share what it is that I love to do. Yay! And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.